Hello, dear viewer. This is your Good News Roundup. This week we cover the woman bringing computers to children in remote African communities, a breakthrough in transportation for donated hearts, genetically modified mosquitoes that are wiping out dengue fever in parts of Brazil, South Korea's new pet protection scheme using no sprints, and the Indian village practicing digital fasting. These students in East Kenya are the IT specialists of the future. And this woman, Nelly Cheboi, is making it happen. She is on a mission to ensure children in rural Kenya don't miss out on essential IT education. She founded TechLit Africa, an NGO that collects old laptops from institutions and companies, refurbishes them, and brings them to schools in remote communities so that kids can learn computer skills.
Most of these students would not have used a computer because we're targeting the most remote parts of Africa. And so right now we have students who don't even speak Swahili yet, knowing how to use a computer, building websites. And the coolest part is that they can still do that in their own village. They don't have to go to Nairobi to do that. They don't have to go to America to do that.
Nelly Cheboi grew up in this very same village, and she had never touched a laptop until she won a scholarship to study in the United States. She wanted it to be different for the students of her village.
In this class, I've been taught how to use Visual Studio Code to make my own website using HTML and CSS. Then I've been taught about OpenShot and about NASA to make my own rocket when I grow up. So I hope this class will help me in my future to be an IT expert.
The program is currently running in 13 schools across Kenya, teaching computer skills to around 5,000 students between 4 and 12 years old. This donated heart is probably different to any other donated heart you have seen or not seen. It is not transported in a box of ice, but in a warm box. It's also different because it was a DCD, a donation after circulatory death, meaning cardiac arrest. Until recently, DCD transplants were very rare, most hearts being transplanted after brain death. But that has changed thanks to this valuable machine.
The challenge with donation after circulatory death is that you don't know the damage that has happened to the heart while it has stopped. So there has to be some way of assessing if this heart is actually viable for transplant. And that's what this technology allows us to do. Instead of putting a heart in a cold esky or an icebox, we're putting it in an environment where we're recirculating warm oxygenated blood into the heart. This warm oxygenated blood allows for the heart to be reanimated. It allows the heart to sort of beat, and we can then visually assess it. We can perform some blood tests on it, and then while it's on that machine, we can sort of see if it's usable or not.
Mosquitoes kill more people than any other creature worldwide, and they are responsible for about 17% of global deaths from infectious diseases. The Aedes aegypti mosquito, for example, is the world's primary transmitter of dengue, chikungunya, Zika, and yellow fever viruses. The good news is that a groundbreaking large-scale pilot introducing new friendly mosquitoes achieved 96% suppression of the dengue-spreading mosquito in urban communities in Brazil. What precisely are friendly mosquitoes? They are non-biting, genetically modified male Aedes aegypti that mate with wild females and pass on a lethal gene that stops female offspring reaching adulthood.
If you get rid of the female mosquitoes, you obviously also stop the production of any mosquitoes because you need them to be able to lay eggs.
What does a world without mosquitoes look like?
So the important thing here is that we're not going to have a world without mosquitoes. This is one mosquito species out of about 3,500 different species of mosquito. So other ways of controlling mosquitoes include spraying chemicals, and those will obviously hit not just this species, but many other things in the environment which are really beneficial. And so we think that this is a really targeted way just to get rid of this mosquito, which is actually causing significant problems for human health.
The friendly mosquitoes were designed by Oxitec Ltd, a leading developer of biological pest control solutions founded at the University of Oxford this year. Oxitec says its tech is the first genetically engineered pest control product for purchase by governments, households, businesses, and communities. It's very simple to use. by adding water to the eggs of the mosquitoes, which then hatch within a few days. This piece of news is reassuring for anyone afraid of losing their dog.
Peter.
Shadow! Thanks to a new biometric recognition technology developed by a South Korean company, dogs can now be identified by their nose print. With the new technology, which works by simply scanning a dog's nose with a mobile phone camera, people who find lost dogs can instantly locate the owners through an app called Annie Puppy. The Seoul-based company says each dog's nose is as unique as a human fingerprint, and that the scans are 99.9% accurate.
So it's a biometric recognition technology for nose patterns for animals like dogs and cats, and also cows and deer have it as well. So it's a 3D biometric algorithm based on AI and deep learning that we have now put into smartphones so that you can take pictures of the nose patterns and use it to identify each animal.
Currently, it is mandatory to register pets with a microchip or an external ID in South Korea and in many places in Europe. But only 38% of South Korea's pet dogs are registered. And that's where Nose ID comes in handy. It is not intrusive and much quicker to administer than inserting a chip. IC Labs biometric recognition technology is already patented in South Korea, the United States, Europe, Canada, and Japan. If you are a little bit like me, you're concerned your phone has become a sort of addiction. Several studies have shown we pick it up even when we don't want to. Others have told us they make us feel lonely and miss out on real-life interactions. Well, this village in India has taken an active approach to the problem. All residents have agreed to do a digital fasting for a couple of hours every day, collectively. A siren has been installed above the village temple, which goes off at 7 p.m. every evening in Badgaon. Another siren sounds again at 8:30 p.m. to announce the end of the detox. What do you think about this initiative?
I think it's a wonderful experiment, and they can lead the world in teaching us all that we could benefit from lowering our hyperstimulation and actually looking at each other, talking to each other, and listening to each other. I think that we have gotten into a bad habit of whenever we have a free moment looking at our phones, looking at a screen of some kind, because we're so averse to boredom. And I think we have to embrace and treasure boredom, because boredom is where we think the new. Boredom is where we are creative and imaginative. So I think this is a very healthy approach to understanding that while this has an important part of our lives, it is not the important thing.
If you find value in this Good News Roundup, leave us a comment, like this video, and share this episode with your friends. And remember, it can be hard to find among the headlines, but some news can be good news.